set up. And we're here at this time. This is the Criminal Roundtable post LQM for April 2022. And we wanted to get together and talk about some of the takeaways and some of our thoughts with the automatic marketing machine and any other curiosities that we wanted to discuss that were unique to the criminal defense bar. So thank you all for joining us. It's 2:07 Eastern, and today is Friday, May 6th. I think that's how they do these recorded calls. All right, I did see a couple people put their cities behind their names. If you want to rename yourself and include your city with that, that'll make sure everybody knows geographically where you're talking from. I see most people that we've met with before, and glad to have some new people, and we'll let additional people join us as they get in. I know there were 2 or 3 others that had wanted to join it. Nice, Lisa. I like the background. Definitely see where you're from. That's awesome. So I'll open it up. Any initial thoughts from the LQM? Anything that anybody took away that they just thought was an A+ idea that they've already started seeing some returns from? Not so much. Any things you're thinking of?
I came up with a lot of ideas.
Okay, Lisa, tell us about it.
But they're, I haven't marketed since June of 2021. So I don't know, I felt like I knew what to do with all my great ideas then, but I have to relearn them now. And so I think that we have a great opportunity with some of the call out something campaign that was just like 4 different things to appeal to families of people who have been arrested and provide them resources for things that they might have to take care of when their loved one is in jail. That was one that I thought of. Let me just find it.
Is anybody using a service or a company that takes the booking information and publicizes it? Or is anybody going to jail websites and having somebody from your office directly go and secure the data and send them direct contact mail?
I have a new service. Sorry, I'm eating lunch. But
that's all right, Leah. We can
I have
talk,
a
chew
new
and talk.
service that we're implementing. I'm just waiting for the bar to clear it. That is called Client Connect. And they're supposed to text people within 24 hours, text and email them from the jail.
Okay.
And I have a contact there, but I can't tell you how it's working yet because the issue is I haven't gotten approval from the Florida bar, and Florida is super annoying, and they require you to go ahead and have approval before. You used to be able to do it, and as long as it was compliant, you were good to go. And Florida is backed up. But the guy I've been dealing with over there is a guy named James Hebish, and if you want his number, 714-699-4053. You can certainly say you talk to me about it. But again, I can't tell you how it's going to be. He only had it available in one of the counties that I'm working in.
Okay.
So what I've been doing since the LQM is I have an ad up right now to hire. I'm going to hire 2 dragons to start off with in case one doesn't work out. And what I really need help with, if anyone can help me, is how to properly, because I've been trying to structure something to properly bonus or reward people for doing that that's compliant with the Florida bar, you know, and make it worthwhile for the person. So
I don't know how the Florida bar compares to Georgia. We are allowed to pay employees a performance bonus or performance commission based on what they do. So our dragons get a base salary and then 4% of the value of what they sell. So if it's a $1,500 criminal case or a $15,000 criminal case, the dragon gets 4%.
And what kind
My-
of base salary do you pay?
30 is the base.
And how much can they expect to earn like over the course of the year, do you think?
I'm targeting somewhere around 70 ultimately. You know, I think 70 to 80 is a very good job for a salesperson. My budget would be very happy. My numbers would look very good if they were making that.
How is anyone else doing this?
I do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got mine straight from my CEO. And I'm in Texas, so our bar is pretty strict too. We have to do pre-approval and all of that stuff too.
Mhm.
But she gets bonused for, we can't bonus for like actually signing. So we bonus her for onboarding. She gets a bonus, then she gets a bonus for doing a 30-day check-in, a 90-day check-in, and she gets bonused for a review. So she can get like $105 for every case.
So how much is the onboarding and then how much are the calls?
I mean, I've got mine set at like, it's at 35 for each thing.
Okay. Got it. And then what kind of a base salary do you pay?
Mine sort of is firm administrator too. I mean, we're in a pretty, I mean, I don't know depressed, but I mean, the wages that get paid here are pretty small compared to what everybody else is. I think she's like at 30, 32. And her bonuses are usually close to what we pay twice a week. She usually gets bonus pretty close to what her salary is.
Okay.
And twice a month.
Twice a month, yeah.
And Lisa, you were starting to say, how do you do that?
Yeah, I was actually getting you my Dragon's offer letter. So
Oh, that would be awesome if anyone has something like that.
so mine is different. I stole mine from a couple different members of the bubble. I kind of got all theirs and then kind of made it my own.
Understood.
And basically she made $23 an hour during training, which included her watching a whole lot of sessions from prior LQMs, as well as some other onboarding things. She had no experience in law at all, so we had to teach her, kind of how to talk the talk then. And so we kind of did a phased training where she made $23 an hour, and every time she finished a segment, she got an additional $100. And the last segment was actually going to dragon training in Phoenix. And then when she came back, she was just, ready to rock and roll. And so when she started as a dragon, her hourly went down to $21 an hour. And then she gets all these bonuses, which I'm pulling this up so that I could actually tell you what they are, because I don't know. And it's in, if I have the Word document, because that's probably more useful to you than the PDF.
If you could email it to me, I'm sending you my email.
It's in the chat.
Oh, okay.
No?
Just
I think it will be there in a minute. But basically she gets a certain amount per case that she onboards, and onboarding goes all the way to 45 days from the day they hire our firm. So she's doing some gas calls, she's doing an intake, she's setting up strategy meeting with the attorney, she's doing the representation agreement, and then she also does, just kind of whatever needs to happen to, as far as getting the payment and then communicating that to everyone else. And so she gets a certain amount per open case for over 3,500 and a certain amount for under 3,500.
Okay.
And that 3,500 was a number I stole from a non-criminal lawyer that means nothing. It's completely arbitrary.
It's my average case value right now, so it's not nothing.
Mhm.
But my dragon just raised my average case value to 7,500.
Nice.
She didn't think we were collecting enough money up front.
Mhm. Yeah, I just did that after the LQM raised it to 7,500 on my, as a minimum for, you know, some of my cases that in the past we would have charged 5,000 up front, but we bill hourly. So,
So do
you
we.
know, they mostly go about way above that anyway. But I decided I don't want to have any more collections issues, so that should help. So thank you, I appreciate it. Put my email in the chat.
Yep, saw that. What other marketing things have we taken away from the LQM that we're starting to consider or trying to flesh out?
I put together a preliminary marketing plan while we were there,
Mhm.
and I'm in the marketing boot camp. I know Gordon's in it. I don't know if anyone else is in it. Who got a
Mm.
CMO? No, no one
Nope.
else. So what I'm planning on doing is I have that 90-day calendar for implementation. I have it. And I started, you know, doing everything within the 90-day calendar. I'm trying to go ahead and smooth out our process as far as onboarding clients and stuff like that. Because I think that we're missing, you know, certain things after hours and whatnot. That's the other thing. I was trying to figure out if I should just use an answering service for after hours, or I was rethinking maybe I should just pay Dragons after the do.
I think that was Gordon. I muted him.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You guys, you know, because I've been answering the phones after hours myself
Mhm.
all these years. I don't know if you guys have a Dragon doing that, or and then rerouting them, or use an answering service.
We're just
Um,
switching today from alert communications to Smith AI. Go ahead, Phyllis, what were you gonna say?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know if you could hear me or not. I didn't want to
Uh-huh.
interrupt. Go ahead and then I can comment.
I was just saying, I used to give out my cell phone. I had a Google Voice number that I had signed up for on my cell phone. So I was giving that out the first few years when there were only 2 or 3 calls that might come in. But now at this point, we've got after hours, 24-hour answering service. Phyllis?
I actually my Dragons answer those calls, and their hours that are required, they just factor that in. So, you know, if they take a call in the evening or on the weekend, they just, you know, subtract that from their hourly weekly requirement. And they've got their own laptops and phones. And so I gave them the choice. They always have the choice of whether to answer the phone or not. And of course they always do, because they want to make the commission. So
Mhm.
that's kind of how I deal with it.
How do you do it timekeeping and making sure they're not going over 40 hours?
They log their time in Clio Manage.
I might need to get together with you on that.
Yeah. Not easy to get people to log time, but
Mhm.
they'll do it if they know, you know, their paycheck is on it.
I have difficulty with the overtime with my Dragon. And so I just told her that if you have a day when you have appointments later in the day, I don't want you coming in till later in the morning. And it hasn't worked yet, but we'll see. But that's something that is very concerning to me, that, you know, she's still worked till like 8, 9 at night, and that's like way too many hours for my payroll.
Yeah, we're trying to get a second Dragon so that we can stagger those hours. Maybe have one start in the morning and work till 5, and then have somebody else come in at like 1 o'clock and work till 8 or 9 at night.
That's why I was thinking of hiring 2, so I can kind of stagger them, or if one needs to do backup for the other one.
Mhm.
So
That's a great idea.
Were you gonna say something, John? You'd come off mute.
Yeah, I got a couple questions. So I've got a unique situation. My dragon is my sister-in-law, who is the sister of my wife, who is also an attorney, who is my partner. So it's a little, I don't know, we're a little bit of a family business here.
Yep.
But she's very, very good at it. Currently, she's remote too, by the way, which, you know, it doesn't matter anymore because the internet, but I'm paying her I'm listening to you guys, and I'm paying her a salary plus a bonus structure. And I'm hearing people talk about paying a commission. And it was my understanding that commissions have barred ethical fee splitting issues.
Yeah, you,
Is that like a
Within your
state by state?
yeah,
That's
you can't,
correct.
and you have to tie it to something else like an onboarding process or I think it was Walter that was saying it's tied to a actual task, such as a 30-day call or 60-day call or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay,
Georgia's
and
kind of the
then- and then
Wild
on-
West.
So Georgia lets you do that?
It does.
Yeah, just
California,
can't call it a commission.
California doesn't, but people do it. Yeah, there's a whole lot of things here that are against the rules. It's funny, when my wife was studying for the bar exam, she commented, she goes, man, there's a lot of, she was studying their professional responsibility. She said, there's a lot of things you guys are doing that are against the rules. Like, oh, are they? So I think it's a little bit of a Wild West thing here. But I'm a little bit nervous about that. But what do you guys think about that? Like just a flat salary plus a bonus structure, based on the amount of retainers we have in a month.
You've got to
That-
tie it to something that is another task other than the sale.
Okay.
That it sounds like
Yeah.
school is, there's got to be some duty that they're performing that's separate from the sale.
And she is. And you know, maybe I need to reach out to somebody offline, and I've got a lot of questions, but I'd like to build a real training program for her. She does a great job. She wants to be a lawyer, she wants to go to law school and all that. She tries to get herself into a lot more of the production side, and I have been fine with that. But as we grow, I need her focused more and more on just being the dragon. But it sounds like you guys have had some ideas about how to train the dragon, like with focus on watching some of the LQMs and things like that. I might reach out to somebody and just maybe try to help design a little program.
If you look
Yeah.
at the offer
But I mean,
letter,
she's
I
pulling
put,
in. She's doing so good now.
if you look at the offer letter I put in the chat, it has all the LQM sessions from the past, not including this one, but just the other LQMs on sales. And no, I did not watch them all and create that myself.
I actually don't see that. I see
It's in the chat.
see an
There's a Word
email. I
document.
see. Maybe it's not coming across on my phone. I don't see it.
We'll
But I'm
make sure
very
somebody
interested
can
in
get
that.
it to you for sure.
All right, if I
John?
put my email address in, could you email it to me?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, one more thing, and I don't want to get sidetracked too much, but I think you mentioned the idea of what we call out here jail mail. Is anybody
Yes,
doing
sir.
that?
That was the question.
I think Gordon
So-
does that. Gordon, don't you do that?
Hello. Yes, I do.
Could you explain it?
Yeah. I've got access to probably 100 counties, but when people first get arrested, or if they get a speeding ticket, when it hits the system, my people send out a letter. I have it down to what I consider to be almost a science. So I have people, We have, actually now you can get remote access for most of the courthouses. So as soon as it hits the system, I've got one person pull the name, pull the address out, and they send it to my second person who's sitting in front of a commercial printer. They print it out, and same day they get to the post office that mails out those kind of letters. Because 4 or 5 days after this happens, they get 100 letters. So I try to get there within 2 or 3 days, because then they only get a couple letters.
So what kind of clients do you get from that? Because there's some opinions here locally that you don't want that kind of client.
Well, I appreciate what you're saying. My offices, my locations generally are maybe based on people who can't afford to pay $20,000 to $50,000. I get a lot of people who do payment plans, which I know a lot of law firms don't like to do. But we do traffic tickets for $350 to $500, and then we do misdemeanors and felonies for thousands. But you're right, most of them are not the ones paying up front. They're paying in payments over the next 6 months to a year.
Where are you located?
Illinois.
What do you charge for a traffic ticket? Oh, you said-
Normally anywhere from $350 to $500. That's initially. If there's additional dates, we do charge.
Oh, that's like a single appearance.
Yeah.
So I'm charging between $300 and $700, but it's like a flat fee no matter how many times we go to court.
Yeah, you get burned if you. I have to do what you're talking about. I have to do with the insurance companies when we represent their clients, but I have to be real careful about those, because if you're going to a court 2 or 3 times, you're getting burned.
Right. Your effective hourly rate is too low.
Yeah, it doesn't work out. So I charge by date.
Well, unless
if
you
they don't
walk
like
in
it.
unless you walk in with a stack of them.
And
Like
I
we
get
had
that.
83 in one court the other day. Oh,
You had 83 in one courtroom.
yeah, it was a long day. That's not the norm, but it was.
83.
My record is 7.
Listen,
Right.
I'm sitting right at the base of the I-5 coming out of Los Angeles. The CHP, it's like German submarines in the Atlantic during World War II. They're just hunting all over the place. So there's a lot of commercial truck drivers here. So yeah.
CDLs are my favorite clients. They always pay and they never show up.
Yep.
But back to the jail mail, we have there's a service here that's offered me, if I pay them, to dump an Excel spreadsheet in my inbox every day with all of those arrests and charges.
Yeah, I've done all those games and they did not work out for me. The problem, I'm sorry. Oh, hey. But the problem I ran into with what you're talking about is time frame. When I bought a list from somebody else, they would send me DUIs 1, 5, 10, 15, and it turned out 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. They just ignored. And the other problem with it was time frame. They would send me the list 7 to 10 days later, and 7 to 10 days later, they've gotten 50 to 100 letters, and I'm not exaggerating. Timing is very important if you're going to send out those letters. They don't know one lawyer from another. In 3 or 4 days, they get 3 to 5 letters.
What does the
After
letter
that,
say?
50 to 100.
What does the letter say? Like, hey, you've been arrested? What does it say?
Yeah, there are different types. You can send out a generic postcard that just says, I'm a criminal lawyer, in case you need one. And those are a little cheaper, but I don't do them. Mine actually, they say confidential on the outside, confidential on the letter, and they specify, hi, Mike Smith, you have a DUI case. We handle DUIs. Call me 24/7.
I actually have seen these letters, and the attorneys were more creative because clients, when they came to my office, they came with the letter. And some attorneys include voucher or like check. It's a fake check, but looks like a real check. And it says, $1,000 discount towards your services if you retain us, and you can use this check. John, I'm also from California. I don't think we have, I'm in LA County, but I don't think we have direct access to jail system for the arrests. There is third-party company who sells leads these arrest records to us. I tried for a very short period of time, and there was so many wrong information. I got emails like from people who, where did you get my information from? This is false. I have never been arrested, blah, 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 blah. So I just gave up on that.
That's a, if I'm hearing, who was it? The gentleman from Illinois? You said you're able to get, Gordon, you're able to get to it somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the way
that we
I
can do
started, the way I initially found it is I went to the courthouse. And when you're in the clerk's office, some of them have computers there that you can pull up your client's information. Well, you'll see people sitting at some of the computers who sit there all day and night, pulling out the information and selling it. Well, if you talk to one of those people or steal them away and hire them for yourselves, then you might be able to learn how to do it, because that's what I did. I went up to one of the people. I said, "Are you looking for a new job?" And she said, "No." I gave her my card, and 2 weeks later she started. And eventually we learned this is, you know what I mean? This is how you pull the information. And she was limited in what she knew, but it got us started. At your clerk's office, there should be computers that you can pull it off. If you check with the clerk's office, you may be able to get lawyer access, but you may have to talk to 10 different people at the clerk's office, because the first 9 may not know what you're talking about. That's just my personal experience.
Gordon, how is this not solicitation?
In Illinois, it is legal to send out the letter. I have it marked confidential on the outside as well as inside. I'm not making a phone call. So we are allowed to send out letters. I'm not allowed to sit in front of the courthouse. I'm not, there's certain limitations and guidelines you are allowed to do.
I know Florida, you're allowed to do that as long as it says in red advertisement, you tell
Yeah,
them.
mine says, I'm sorry. Mine says advertisement in the corner. Yes.
And it has to say in Florida, how you obtain their information, what source, and other identifying information, including a full firm address, what county you have a physical office, and other stuff like that.
Hey, Shalandra, I'm muting you just because you were still on and getting in your car making some noise. If you need us, unmute yourself. But yeah, that's in Georgia. We were spoiled. We used to be able to just go and see recent bookings, and on the website, public information was all the data. Now you actually have to know the name first, and then you can research and get their information.
This is my house. And for those of you who see it, that's the printer. You want to be
Very
on the
nice.
Those are, if you look over here, you can see we've got different cards from different counties.
Mhm.
And we literally, as soon as we get them, we send them out.
Awesome.
Well, that's going to the clerk's office may not work in California. I don't know other states, but sometimes the case gets filed 4 or 5 months after the arrest. And by the time we hit the clerk's office, they already have hundreds of these letters from other attorneys. So
This process is expensive. If you don't track it, you can go bankrupt. You're absolutely correct.
You gotta hear from the sheriff here, sheriff of the booking here.
I can tell you
no,
one other
Gordon-
way is I went to
Gordon-
bond court, and bond court actually lists up the people that are at bond court. I don't happen to use that, but it's a good way to get a list of people that are just arrested.
Well,
Plus your
but
felonies.
yeah, I don't know if that would work here, because if they're cited and released, and I'm looking for DUIs, and here where we are, the vast majority of those are cited and released, especially after COVID. So I don't know how to get that, but what I was curious, I appreciate the insight. That was kind of my understanding, is it's awfully expensive.
Yeah,
And-
DUIs are probably one of the most expensive things to market. We don't
Yeah.
market them everywhere, to be honest.
Yeah, but they're really lucrative. The county I'm in, they write like 6,000 or 7,000 a year, and figure about half of them go private. So
But that's not the question you have to ask. The question you have to ask is how much does it cost you to send out a letter? And out of a
Yeah.
1,000 letters you send out, how many will call and how many will you sign up?
right. And you're right. Everyone's saying that they get like 14 of these letters, and if you can get on there like the day
14 is
of,
not a lot.
yeah, they're coming in my office with these letters with the vouchers and all of that. I'm like, I wonder if this works. I don't know.
We did it when we
Worked
first
for me.
started, but that's why I was asking, because we haven't done it in several years and we're looking for a way to increase the volumes quickly. What other thoughts do people have on what they're going to do next for their marketing?
I don't know if this is where we should talk about this, but I don't know if anyone has thought about subscription services and what they're doing if they are. I don't know if that's now or that's next, but
For criminal services or for
yeah.
what?
Yep.
What kind of subscription? For repeat arrestees?
I've heard a bunch of things like people who, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So that's why I was kind of throwing it out there to all of you. But it was like there were people who can subscribe like $99 and then they're as part of they pay like $100 for a misdemeanor or $1,000 for a felony. Like they get these like huge discounted rates, and I don't know, it doesn't seem to be. I mean, for felonies, it makes 0 sense to me. But for
it sounds like you're devaluing your services when you do something like that. I would
I'll-
skip it
I'll
altogether.
pull from our 2 previous calls where we've talked about it, and it has not been well established, and it's kind of still in the ether. So we're still working on consolidating our thoughts. But what I've taken from the 2 rounds of conversations on this is the best I can do is a DUI or probation white glove service. So if you have, I don't sell it as part of the beginning. I won't sell it until we conclude the case. So I've proven to the client, I should have developed some goodwill with the client about what kind of services our office can handles. And then we just have an add-on fee. Look, I didn't get you into this hoping you'd get probation. That's why I didn't mention it before. But now that we're done and we've signed the plea paperwork, you've got a list of all the things you need to do. Now, you're a very smart guy, and I believe that you're capable of managing this by yourself. But if you want the assurance of knowing that we're behind you to help out, we do have a white glove additional service for $1,500. That's the price we're considering. The idea there is we're going to reach out to your probation officer before your first appointment. We're going to confirm the appointment date and time, because sometimes they change these things around, especially post-COVID. The second thing we're going to do is introduce ourselves to your probation officer and say, we're representing Mr. Smith. Please, if anything else comes up, I know you deal with all kinds of clients and all kinds of capabilities. If anything comes up where there's some miscommunication, here's my personal cell phone. Give me a call. Let me know, what I can do to help smooth things out if there's a problem. Third, we then call the client back and say, hey, we've confirmed, yes, your meeting appointment is in 10 days. Make sure it's on your calendar. 24 hours before the meeting, we'll call them up and say, don't forget tomorrow is your probation. By the way, drink lots of water. Don't do anything stupid tonight. And, just kind of be a hand-holding service through it. Call the DUI, drug and alcohol evaluator, make sure that appointment is set up for them. A lot of times we have monitoring with electronic monitoring. We'll call the monitoring service, schedule a time for them to be there. None of it is particularly intensive. Most of those services are used to answering calls. So we're expecting to spend maybe an hour and a half for all of these services. But that's kind of where we're thinking in terms of this additional add-on service.
I mean, we do that in every one of our cases, but my clients pay me hourly.
Mhm.
And we attend the first appointment after court with them. Sometimes we're stuck waiting a couple hours, and the clients will pay me my hourly rate for that or my associate's rate. And we check with their probation officer every single month ahead of time to make sure, like if they're reporting by mail, we make sure that we file the reports by mail for them, provide the compliance with pay stubs so they don't have to verify their employment with the employer, micromanage their community service hours and programs. We do all that, but we charge a lot more money than what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we don't do
that's
hourly.
cool.
Ours are blue collar immigrant, non-citizen workers. And so we charge usually 3,500 to 5,000 for misdemeanor offenses, depending on the court.
Got it.
What are some
I guess-
other people's thoughts on subscription services or white glove services, concierge service?
I mean, we also do expungements and higher level expungements than most of the people, and most attorneys in Florida will charge, $500 for an expungement. I charge $3,500 to start. And the reason why is we included, and I think I told some people at the LQM about this, we include all the different websites that they're named in and kind of do a social media scrub. And I've gotten all the local judges to sign off on the orders to get rid of everything else. As long as the websites are in the US or Europe, we can get it removed. Depending upon the country, it's on a country by country basis after that. And we remove it from the 3 major databases that everything flows into. But again, we kind of have a different client demographic. So my clients, that's one of the first things they mention when they're arrested, that they need this away because it's harming them professionally. So we usually will confer with them with, different social media services to try to remove the listings and things like that up front.
Well, if I'm arrested in Fort Lauderdale, I'm hiring you for sure.
Thanks, but hopefully hopefully no one on this call will be arrested. But definitely
Lisa,
need
you
all
were going to
that.
jump in and say something.
I was just saying, so we tested for a month, seeing if our clients wanted to upgrade to our VIP package when they hired us. And that included, so they paid like their normal retainer, and then for $5,000 flat fee, it gave them 24/7 access to the legal team. It gave them office hours before and after we were open, weekend, whatever. It gave them a discount on their expungement, and that we would track the time till they were eligible for their expungement. I'm trying to think there was like 7 or 8 things, and not one person did it. We just sent out as a direct mail and an email to our existing clients, not like our brand new clients, and to be determined. But we did try it, and that just, I don't know, maybe the 5,000 was too overwhelming for them, but we figured that they weren't going to pay for. Oh, that's what it is. There's open office hours that they don't pay for. They're like paid in advance, and they get to go to these open office hours twice a month for the life of their case. And so, yes, and then there was some other stuff, but it did not fly well with new clients who were paying a lot of money up front. So we'll see how it does with existing clients who, already have money in the trust.
All of my retainers, I don't know if this helps you, they have that after hours, weekends, and holidays, it's double our hourly rate for any staff or attorneys that work on their matters. So maybe that's something, if they don't want to necessarily sign up one way, if they really need you, if you reinforce that in the intake meeting, that you're available for that, they'll do that. And I have plenty of clients who are happy to pay it all day, every day.
That's great.
All right. Well, we've got about 15 more minutes before I need to leave. Are there any other topics or items that anybody else wanted to bring up for discussion?
I have a topic. It's not related to marketing, but
Tell us, Susanna.
I need to find an associate attorney, and I can't find it? Where do you look for your associates?
Mine, both of mine that I've hired so far have been through chamber, bar associations, local bar associations. I know I put out ads on Wise Hire and LinkedIn, but the two most recent hires have come from word of mouth.
I think that you're in a really, really difficult market in California looking for associates. I've just, like, when I was hiring and, you know, two bubble mates who were hiring at the same time, we did exactly the same thing, you know, Wise Hire. We made it, we each made a landing page for hiring, use the PI, like we did exactly the same thing. You know, I hired 7 people, they've hired 1.
For non-experienced ones, it's much easier than experienced attorneys to find an experienced attorney. There are a lot of new bar passers that are looking for a job, but I mean, if
I would ask the judges if they know any new lawyers who might be looking. I mean, because they've seen them, so they'll know if they're, you know, good or if they're, you know, worth anything.
For criminal, I usually contact the state attorney's office. I've just been having trouble finding other areas of law, and I also used Wise Hire and Rosanna. I texted you a link.
got it.
So
But I would
we,
say if you need criminal state attorney's, DA's office there.
yeah, we handle things a little differently, and I lost my voice, so bear with me, but I only like to hire former public defenders. I found that I'm the only former prosecutor in the firm, and I found that the prosecutors don't have a love of criminal defense. They may like money and they might like criminal law, but one of the things that we do is we only hire lawyers who have a genuine, true passion and love for criminal defense. So it's just a matter of making sure that we don't hire public defenders that won't fit well and come in here and go, oh, this is a business, this is bad money, oh, terrible. So, you know, we just have to look for the right public defenders. And we've done a really good job of hiring out of our public defender's office. But we're in court every day. We see people. So now one of our goals is to have a bench of basically like minor league players that we're ready to recruit out. So, you know, when you're in court, personally, I think it's easy. You know, we won't hire anybody who's not a very experienced attorney and who doesn't know their shit. So we'll get to see them in the trenches.
Hope you feel better, Adam.
Thanks. I feel fine. I just lost my voice. So, yeah.
I agree with you, Adam. I think the public defenders are the best place to go.
Yes, especially too when you're talking about motion writing. You know, these prosecutors, they don't write motions. They barely, you know, they just mail it in. So we move our cases with really good motion writing, and we just have to retrain them on the customer service level. And basically, like, you know, it's easier. Some are easier than others, but it's, you know, we basically have to train them on, you know, no, our clients get white glove, and this is how you speak to them, and this is how this, and we had 2 recently that we hired who were 12-year public defenders, death penalty certified. One was a former chief in that office, and they both had what they thought were negative viewpoints around money and client signups. And they ended up loving it because they've said, this is the first time that any client's ever chosen me, right? I'll see them 90 days after they get arrested, and then I have to do a whole thing to overcome all their negative objections about public defenders and me. They're like, wow, this is amazing. I get to build a relationship with the client from day one, and they get to choose me. Holy shit. I'm in love with client signups and, you know, and those type of things. And we don't use dragons. I'm new. I just joined at the LQM. I'm interested to hear about the dragon concept, but we don't currently do, and I'm open to considering it, but we don't currently do that. So
Phyllis made me do it.
And
The
you're very
non-attorney salesperson. Go ahead, Phyllis.
I just said she's very happy since she did it.
I am. We opened 34 cases the first month that I had a dragon, and I didn't meet one of them. Not
Yay.
one.
I'm definitely open to it, definitely open, but it's gonna take some, I'm gonna have to deep dive with some of you guys and some other people in the bubble and see how it really works and if it fits well with us. I personally,
Took 2
I'd be
years for
more,
me to come around.
I would personally be more open to an attorney salesperson who's working on strict, because then you can pay them on commission and they can actually give legal analysis, because we actually give legal analysis in our strategy sessions. But maybe we can go into that on a different day.
Yeah, I mean, that's better. It's just also more expensive. Not a lot of attorneys
Right.
want to work
Yep.
for 70 grand a year.
Right.
But doesn't the whole theory of with HTM is we don't need legal, we don't need attorneys to sell, because attorneys tend to give legal advice and for free. So that's the whole purpose of not having
Right.
an attorney, I think.
Yeah, no, I know. And so that's something that I'm curious to work through.
That's definitely a chat for the next time when we're in Orlando at the bar hanging out. We'll
Yeah.
chat about that. We've had, now we know why Adam was so quiet, laryngitis. We've had a couple other people that were quiet. So just trying to think of something that we could get people to talk that were quiet. I know Sean Alondra joined us late and was quiet. John hasn't said a word all day. What's been your favorite case this week? Benson, not Underwood.
I'm a shy guy. I want to go back to Doug, what you had said earlier. You had the subscription service that you put in and the pricing. What percentage of the people are taking you up on that?
We have not unrolled it yet. That's just our current thought process. We've been onboarding too many new people to add something else to the mix. I'm hoping maybe by May we can roll this out, but it's still in the brainstorming process at this point right now.
Okay, yeah, because our price points are probably pretty close to yours. So I'm really interested to see what you do with that, because I'd like to roll one out.
I'll keep you posted. What about you, Shalandra? You joined us in lurking today. You're going to jump in and say hi. You may be busy. That's all right. She'll listen to the recording later on. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I'll go ahead and wrap us up for today and wish everyone a very good weekend. Hope you all have prosperous weeks next week and get lots of new business, and we'll talk all about it again in a couple weeks.
Hey, one quick question. How often do you guys meet, Doug?
This is our third time doing this. Ideally, it was going to be every 2 weeks. I tried to pass off the baton after the second meeting and no one picked it up. So then suddenly the LQM rolled around. I figured, might schedule another one of these. So I'll put one more in 2 weeks, and then if somebody else wants to jump on it after that, then that would be great.
Doug for president.
No, that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid, is not becoming some de facto head of the criminal department that I barely practice in anyway. So I'm almost out of production, so I don't need to be in charge of anything. I'm definitely an extrovert. All right, y'all have a great weekend.
Thank
All right,
you.
see ya.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye, everyone.